we're in a situation now where globally most of the world's population live in cities, and that's certainly true of the industrialised West. Our population is predominantly urban, and that means that's where our economy is concentrated, and that means that's where our carbon emissions come from too. Or if they're not being emitted in cities, their consumption is driving the carbon emissions that appear elsewhere. So if we don't tackle the way we live, work, and the way our economy operates in terms of transport, we actually have no chance at all of hitting those carbon reduction targets. We actually have to fundamentally change the way our cities are designed and operate over the longer period. I mean, to get down to specifics, some of the big challenges in the UK and in Scotland is there's a lack of responsibility. It's not clear, there's nobody in a city who's responsible for delivering clean, affordable, secure energy. It's not an authority that's held at a city level. And as well as that, the cities don't actually have the necessary powers to implement many of the things you would want them to do. Those powers are all distributed across multiple other bodies. So either we need a transfer of power to our cities, or we need to draw together a very wide coalition of organisations to make transformational change happen. I mean, Scotland's driving some great technological change, but to be honest, I think more fundamentally what Scotland can show is how a joined-up approach to tackling climate change, both in terms of adaptation and emissions reduction, how that can create significant impact. Because the technology, actually most of the technologies, many technologies that we need are already there, in fact. Where it is actually creating the business models and the political and social endorsement of those technologies and the transformation process. That's what is actually needed. So what we need is Scotland to demonstrate how you do that transformation process. And it is difficult, but that's what we need. At a city level, I think it's interesting because Scotland doesn't actually have any megacities, But then when I look across the world, the UK only has one megacity, and that's London. Europe only has two, London and Paris. So actually, if you look across the world, the majority of global cities are in fact medium-sized cities, 500,000 to 2 million or so people. And Scotland has that. So if we can demonstrate in our cities, this is how you do a transformation in an urban environment, that can act as a very powerful demonstrator to all sorts of cities elsewhere in the world. I hope we can make some recommendations, radical recommendations that gain traction with Scottish Government and other policy makers. Some of the things we're discussing are quite ambitious and quite controversial in terms of transfers of powers, new legislation necessary. But to be honest, that's the kind of transformation we need if we're going to hit those targets. So we've got the right people in the room, and we're coming up with some really interesting ideas. So I just hope they become reality down the line.